Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aseem Singhal and today I'm going to show you how to calculate the ATR using Excel. And we all know ATR is very useful, especially to figure out how much movement we can expect on a particular day or on a particular time frame, and that is how we can use an ATR. Generally I use ATR for my stop losses. So if the ATR is high, I would rather have a bigger stop loss because it can be a volatile day. But we should know what are the different kinds of ATR. So I've added the normal ATR. So once you add it I'm doing it on a 15 minutes time frame. If I, let's say, do a 7 period ATR, at the bottom you will notice that there is something called smoothing, and generally if you see, generally the ATR is calculated on an RMA, that is rolling moving average. So let me show it to you. This is how the ATR would look like. Whereas if we were to change this, so I'm going to add another ATR now, but this time I'm going to add it not on RMA but on an SMA. So I'm just going here. I'm making it the same length, but instead of an RM I'm doing it an SMA. And now you can see that there is a very clear difference. There is a very clear difference, as you can see here, that the ATR was almost like this, whereas in the SMA it went like this. So you can see that there can be big differences just on the way how we calculate the ATR, and I will be showing you both ways, how to calculate the ATR RMA as well as the ATR SMA on the Excel sheet. Generally, say, as I said, the most common one is the ATR RMA, and you can see that the values are different as well. So at any point of time you would notice that the values are quite different. So let's start. So I have got the nifty 5-minute data here, and we would be requiring some things to figure out the ATR. The first thing we would require is the high minus low. The next thing we will require is the high minus previous closing price. Then we will need low minus previous closing price. Then I'll calculate the true range, and finally I will be calculating ATR using the SMA and ATR using the RMA. So as the word suggests, high minus low is today's high minus low. That's the high minus low. High minus previous close is high minus the previous closing price. But here we have to be careful that this has to be an absolute value, because we cannot take negatives here. So let me show it to you. If I just copy it here, we will get some negative values also, as you can see here. So we don't want negative values, and for that reason I'm going to absolute it. So just writing ABS before that, and once I do that, you will notice that this minus 0.1 will become plus 0.1. Similarly, low minus previous close is low minus previous close, and again I don't want a negative value. So again I will be adding an ABS right at the beginning to make sure that every number is a positive number. And let me just copy everything right till the bottom. Right, so we have got our high minus low, high minus previous close, and the low minus previous close. The next thing is we have to find the true range, and true range is nothing but the maximum of these three values. So whatever is the maximum value, that becomes my true range. And again I've just double clicked it and I've found my true range as well. Now let's first calculate the ATR, and let's say we are doing it on a 7-period. So if you are doing it on a 7-period ATR SMA, then it's the normal thing. So we just count 7. So these are 7 rows. So we start with the 7th row, and this is the normal average. So if I do this and if I just drag it right till the bottom, let me just make it remove the extra decimal points. This becomes the ATR, which is using the SMA. So as we showed on the chart, this is ATR 7 with a simple moving average as the smoothing. But if we are to do it with the RMA, which is I think the correct way and the more preferred way to do that, what we have to do is first number will be same. So the first number will be same as the SMA. But from the next one, what we'll have to do is we'll have to find the previous ATR, the previous ATR multiplied by, so since we are doing 7 periods, so we will multiply it by 7 minus 1, and then we'll add the current true range. and I will just make it the entire bracket now, and I will divide it by 7. So what I've done is I'm giving importance to the previous ATR as well. So I'm actually giving quite a bit of importance. I'm taking 6/7, so 6 out of 7 times of the previous ATR, and the only 1/7 of the current true range, and then dividing it whole by 7. And once I do this, you will clearly see again that the results are very different, as we just saw. This, as the number says, is more smoother, it's rolling, and you will see that this works in a better way, because in the ATR SMA the values can become really high or really more, just depending on the current true range values, whereas this depends from the first value itself. So what does this mean is, when you're doing ATR SMA, you will notice that the previous values do not make any difference. So if I start calculating the ATR, let's say instead of 3rd of March, 3rd of January, let's say if I start calculating it from 6th of January, the ATR SMA will still remain the same. So if I were to find this ATR SMA, you will notice that it will still remain the same. So the ATR SMA is exactly the same as what it was if we were calculating it right from the beginning. So this will not change. But now if we do the ATR RMA, you will notice that the values will change significantly. So let me add the formula again. This is the first time. And then let me just copy paste this formula, and just I'll need to update this to the true range. So I've used the same formula now for the ATR RMA, and you can see that the ATR RMA is not matching. So what does this mean? It means that if we are anywhere you're using the RMA function, the rolling moving averages, the results will differ depending on how much data is there. Okay, so if we have more data, the results will be different, and that is why you would notice that sometimes the ATR RMA value is different from each broker to broker, because it depends on what is the starting point. And more the data, the more closer your actual ATR RMA will be. But I hope, anyway, that's besides the point. I hope you have seen how to calculate the ATR using both the SMA and the RMA, and I hope you like the video. Please do subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.